Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia, and welcome to CPtsd TV Live. My name's Linda, and welcome, Conscious Warriors, to our next episode where we're going to take a look at how selfies help me recognise dissociation. Now, if you're here this morning, remember to say g'day, and if you're here for the first time, welcome. Remember to hit like or subscribe. And remember that we share for the silent majority because mental health challenges are worldwide and we never know the one person that will impact. And as I was explaining in group, one lady spoke up a couple of days ago how just being in group, not commenting, but just being in group helped her save her life because she made a conscious choice that she could come into a place of love and that there would be hope. Okay, if there's a problem with the broadcast, just let me know. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's Ecamm Live playing up this morning or not. So, I just want to show you some of the selfies. I'll just grab this for you. Okay, so I'd been on a bit of a journey over a few years. So this picture here was back in 2012 when I'd not long gotten out of bed and began to interact in the community as well. So I didn't talk a lot, but I had hope that one day I would be well and one day that I'd know. And this was in December 2017, so about 5 years between the two. So I'd begun to get well. I'm not feeling really confident about this broadcast, and I'm just going to check on the mobile because if it's not working, I need to know. And then can you let me know if it's working properly, those that are here online, to say, yeah, everything's okay, or it's still breaking up, because the internet's fine here. And I'm just not sure if it's the, the product that I'm using. It all seems to be fine. Okay, so what I began to recognise, now these is only 4 selfies, but what I began to recognise over time was that my face, the shape of my face, how puffy my face was, it'd go up and down. And then what I began to do was go, something's going on. For me to have a regular routine and for my face to keep changing shape and size, there has to be something going on that I'm not seeing, okay? So what I did is look over, say, a collection of selfies over time. And the irony of all of this is I don't particularly like taking selfies. It's just part of what I do for business. But I'm so grateful now because I was able to begin to recognize really specific things about my life, and most especially when I was dissociating, because I have a routine. So I have a fixed routine of the morning where I get up a specific time, I meditate, I do gym, come home, do trauma-informed movement, shower, and get ready to do the live version. So then what happened was I began to think, well, what's going on? Why the changes? And then I realised that it would change because I didn't realise, I wasn't conscious of the fact that I was dissociating. And when I was dissociating, I wasn't able to do as much work or consistent work as what I would do when I'm in the routine and working it all the time. So that took me down a road to find out why. Why was this happening? And then I was able to go, okay, that means that if I'm dissociating, then I'm slipping unconsciously back into hypoarousal, back into fawn mode, and I'm not recognizing it. So I need to recognize it more. So what I did was build a conscious awareness of when I wasn't able to continually do my routine consistently, and look for what was happening that was triggering me, and I didn't know it. Now, the reason why we don't know it is because we've lived in that state for so long that it's our norm. So this is why we become conscious warriors, because we have to, in order to keep taking the one next step to break the cycle. Now, the other side of this is what's happening internally for us. Now, I want to share this short video with you, but it's jam-packed full of information. And at the end of it, it has, hang on, I'm just going to find the video on the screen for you. At the end of the video, it literally has a set of ideas that we can do to break this cycle, which puts us into dissociation. Okay, so I'll just grab the video for you.
Let's talk about the biggest barrier to recovery and actual healing, and that is stress and the activation of the flight or fight mechanism. It's called the sympathetic nervous system, and a person is in sympathetic dominance, and you have high levels of cortisol and high levels of adrenaline, both produced by the adrenal gland. The activation of the sympathetic nervous system and the activation of cortisol really wasn't designed to go more than 90 seconds. The problem is nowadays, it's just all day long. Our environments, our life is filled with things that keep us in stress mode. When the body is in flight or fight, it's preparing for emergency survival, running away from something, or fighting. And you will not heal 100% if you're in this mode. Many people have the switch turned on, and they just can't turn it off. And this prevents the sleep, which has an entire cascade of additional things that can happen. I did a whole video on that. It also will release glucose. Okay, your body has a stored glucose as glycogen. It's going to release glucose when you have high levels of cortisol. I mean, even another name for cortisol is glucocorticoid. It's a glucose-controlling hormone, and it will activate insulin. That's why a lot of times people become diabetic when they have stress for too long. So you're not going to be able to recover, your digestion's not going to work that well, the speed of wound healing is less. You'll retain sodium and you'll dump potassium. The more stress you have, the more that you just will lose potassium. Chronic stress destroys something in your brain called the hippocampus. And the hippocampus has to do with memory, learning, and locating yourself in time and space. So you're like, okay, what did I do with those keys? Where did I park? You're studying something, but it's just not quite going in. It could be from the stress affecting this brain structure. Also, stress is the main activator for disease and especially infection. It's almost impossible to get sick if you're stress-free. It's virtually impossible to have a disease if you don't have any stress. You take a look at anyone who had a disease or an infection, and they had stress right before that happening. Chronic stress then causes cortisol to be resistant. Very similar to insulin resistance, you can have cortisol resistance. So your body's pumping out more cortisol, but it's not really working. And because cortisol is an anti-inflammatory, that function doesn't work anymore, and you just become one big ball of inflammation. Being in the flight or fight mode too long can increase your risk of heart attacks, and it can even cause a loss of bone formation. I had a patient when I was in practice come in the office, and she was postmenopausal. Her entire spine collapsed, where now she's like a hunchback, and the bones are literally caved in on each other. It was really, really weird. So I sent her out to get tested, and her cortisol was off the charts. So cortisol can definitely affect bone formation, as well as cause a loss of collagen formation. Now, what part of your body is collagen? Ligament, tendons, and cartilage. So your joints. So the joints become a big problem. Plus, they're going to be inflamed. But other than that, you're going to be good to go. And the biggest symptom to know if you're in this situation is to look at your tolerance to stress. You may find that you have a great difficulty in babysitting like 5 kids for more than 8 hours. That might get on your nerves. You have low patience for very slow drivers in front of you. But it is your ability to have patience which is the best indicator for strength of your adrenal gland. Your ability to be calm in chaos. That would be a very strong adrenal. All right, so here are a few things you can do. The more stress that you have, the more you're in flight or fight, the more you should exercise. This is a really good therapy for a lot of people. Walking, hardcore exercise, just more exercise. Of course, diet. We're talking about healthy keto. We're talking about fasting. It's very, very important. Acupressure. I put some links down below. That will really put you in a state of relaxation. B1, the most important nutrient to take for this condition. Nutritional yeast. Take a lot of it. Potassium, very, very important. It's a physiological relaxer. It calms the nervous system down. Magnesium, very important. And then we have breathing. There's a great technique to actually affect your nervous system. So when someone's in a state of stress, they breathe like this. Their exhalation is very fast or shortened. So what you want to do is you want to breathe in slowly and breathe out slowly at the same rate. Whether it's 3 or 4 seconds in, it's going to be probably 4 or 5 seconds in, and then 4 or 5 seconds out. If you practice that, it'll actually pull you out of the flight or fight mechanism. Vacation. That is very, very therapeutic. You need to find a desert island where you can go by yourself for 3 months. I actually said that in another video, and a lady that I met recently told me she heard that advice and she did go on a vacation for 2 months in Italy. And she lost all this weight and she did great. So this is very good therapy if you can do it. Don't take things so serious. People that are in stress mode are very, very serious. You need to be the opposite of serious. You need to be playful. You need to be carefree. You need to be relaxed. You need to pull yourself out of this excessive worry and thinking and analyzing and solving problems 24/7. Anyway, I have some additional videos that you definitely need to check out on stress on this page. Check it out.
Okay, how did you go? Now, I want you to remember, Dr. Eric is just talking about people who haven't experienced trauma, okay? So complex trauma means that impact is magnified for us. So we're going to need to do a bit more work. This is why we do trauma-informed movement, to help get our prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of our brain, feeling normal, to be connected into our limbic system. So that helps decrease the dissociation. For me, I want to go get some more vitamins because the ashwagandha that I'm taking does help, and it is slowly but surely stopping me from going into this hyperarousal state. So we're stuck on that all the time. So fight, flight, freeze or fawn. He doesn't talk about fawn mode, and that's important that we do talk about it because it is a significant difference in our day-to-day life. I know that it's not easy to hear a lot of this at times, but it also gives us hope because now we can say, I can understand what's happening internally for me and I can begin to change it. So if you were to take one thing off the video that you wanted to add into your life to turn things around, what would it be? I know for me, I'd love to take a 3-month vacation, but that's not going to happen. So for me, I want to add some more of the vitamins in to help my whole system feel less stressed. So it's not necessarily us that's feeling stressed, depending on our stage of recovery, but we need to help our internal system, our adrenal system, feel more relaxed. I don't do acupressure, but I do acupuncture, and that is very, very relaxing. Like, it can put you to sleep, not a problem at all. So think of something, just one next step that you can take to help your internal self relax, because as he said, we're holding on to it. Our whole body becomes this ball of inflammation. So what the Selfies was showing me was not only the dissociation and that I was back in full fawn mode, okay, it showed me that the work that I'm doing, to the routine that I have, once I keep on it, it works. It lowers the inflammation, and that there is hope that ultimately there will be a breakthrough, that my internal system will heal, and I will be able to not have to automatically turn back to fawn mode unknowingly. Okay, leave your thoughts and comments below and let me know if you can relate to the video, if it's something that made complete sense to you. It's here to watch again. I'll put it up on the page as well, so that you can have a good look at it, that you can ponder it, that you can work it through and see how it fits into your day-to-day life, and also so you can begin to put a routine into place and then see how long you can, how many days you can keep it for, and then become aware that if you go off the routine, where is dissociation happening? Was there an extra stress in your life that triggered it? And then to begin to go back to your routine again. It's not easy, but it's doable when we can recognize it, when we can build that conscious awareness more into our life. Thanks for joining in this morning, and I look forward to sharing some information again with you tomorrow morning. Okay, have a gorgeous day and a wonderful evening, and remember, above and beyond everything else, you are loved. Bye for now.